People, deluded. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. We kick off the 2019-20 season in the best possible fashion we possibly could by Arsenal standards. Yes, there was nervy moments. You remember Shelby hitting the post, Joe Linton's... there was an effort in the first half. I'm sure Joe Linton got ahead to it and it just skimmed wide. There was a couple other opportunities like such. But that's all to be expected being an Arsenal fan. At least for this week, we've kicked it off in the best possible fashion. We've walked away with 3 points away from home. What can we say? Going into the game, we need to take 3 points. It's not the time of the season to be focusing on what other people are doing, but you see Spurs obviously beat Aston Villa. They're likely to be competing with us for top 4 if they're not going for the league and whatnot. Obviously City are City and Liverpool are Liverpool. Us included, nobody's looked convincing, as you wouldn't at this point in the season. But the main thing is 3 points. Now you're just looking at it's just United and Chelsea now to come as well. So after that game, we'll know fully for this week where we stand. As said previously, we've obviously got Liverpool and Spurs and whatnot and United in September to come very early on. So you look at our first 2 game weeks, it's against, no disrespect to the sides, it's against Newcastle and Burnley. We need to be taking 3 points from that. It's not like last season where we had Chelsea and City. Well, we did have them early, but the first 2 games where it was 2-3 hits, we need to kind of damage limitation, because I do feel confident with Emery and our squad going into games against the top 6, but you never know what can happen. So yeah, obviously Newcastle, they've got a new manager. Some people didn't want him. He's a Geordie. He wants to do as best as he possibly could. Back to Arsenal now. I'm sure you all were thinking, what's going on here with the team sheet? We know obviously Ozil and Kolasinac were not going to be involved in any capacity. You've obviously seen Joe Willock. I wanted him to start. He started. Nelson the same. He got his chance. We have to wait to see more of Pepe. I know he came off the bench. Torreira's obviously working his way back to fitness, so he didn't start. Ceballos probably the same. Lacazette didn't play either. It's Aubameyang up front. Personally, I do think the constant theme of the first half, in fact, the whole game could probably be described as lackluster, kind of lifeless, as you would expect at this moment in time of the season. We all knew going into this Newcastle were going to sit back. I felt they had a number of opportunities, so I'm not saying they were defensive. I just felt with their formation, in which it appeared 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, the plan was to remain rigid, remain compact and frustrate us, and they did kind of do that together with Aubameyang. You know, Aubameyang is not really the best of strikers alone by himself in terms of hold-up play. I think he did a good job working the flanks. I feel probably first 10 minutes I'd say we were cool. I felt confident. I was seeing Joe Willock doing his thing, Nelson doing his thing. I feel Guendouzi was cool. Chambers as well. Obviously Chambers won't get the praise these other players will get, but I feel Chambers, what I like about Chambers, and I tweeted it, he don't try and do things above his pay grade. Do I think he's a world-class defender? No. Do I think he can be that? No. That's no disrespect to him. I believe he can be a competent defender for us if given an opportunity. What capacity is down to him. But I like how he takes risks when he needs to. Obviously he needs to be able to play with the ball at the back, and there was some good moments. We did that in the first half. But I like how he don't really try and do stupid stuff, if you get it, people. I did think Newcastle's right-hand side, our left, would cause us issues, because it just looked like Socrates was playing on the left-hand side at centre-half, and it did kind of look like whenever Almiron got out there, we were having issues in that regards, but that was just an area. I did feel we were giving the ball away a bit too much. Like I said, I liked how he was playing with the ball, but I feel Xhaka and Mkhitaryan, not to scapegoat them in particular, very careless with the ball throughout the whole game, more so in the first half. I actually feel Mkhitaryan did quite well to last 83 minutes in total, people, because I just don't think he was at it within that game. Like I said, I feel we was all right in the first 10 minutes and whatnot. We had plenty of the ball. We looked confident at times. Newcastle were kind of respecting us a bit, but I felt as we approached them, in fact, before we speak about that, obviously we had a lovely run from Joe Willock to earn a free kick in the 13th minute. We had an opportunity to counter-attack in the 14th, but it broke down. Joe Linton had that effort where he obviously inches wide, and Mkhitaryan again on the counter, sloppy passes. Obviously, I'd say moving to the 18th to the 30th minute in the game, for me, let's just call it 20 to make it that. Around the period Shelby hit the post from the corner, I did think Newcastle got over the fact that they're playing Arsenal, the fact that it's the first game of the season, and they kind of kicked into game mode, and they started to have more joy in the ball, started to do what they could, started to ask Maitland-Niles and Monreal questions, and you did see Newcastle have a couple half chances they potentially could have done or should have done better with. I'm sure Newcastle fans will say. I feel they started putting together good moves. I feel Matt Ritchie was doing his thing on the left-hand side, and they were doing what they needed to do, man. I think there was times we was under the storm a tiny bit. I liked how we kept trying to play out from the back, and I feel Leno did his job today. He wasn't too troubled too much, really and truly, but he did what he needed to do, and I feel a couple times he came to collect it. There was a nervy moment. I liked how he took authority of coming out to header it. There was a similar incident on Maitland-Niles' side where he took authority, got the ball back and then sprayed it. I think we was doing alright, man. I did feel the man in possession. There was a real lack of options, people, if I'm completely honest. I was liking what I was seeing with Nelson. Obviously, you want to see him fine-tune the end product a bit, but I was liking his link-up play, his movement. Joe Willock the same. I think Guendouzi played alright as well. Maitland-Niles in an attacking sense was doing what he needed to do, but in short, it just wasn't quite of the standard from both teams to really get anything out of the game, and I suppose that kind of filters into Newcastle. No disrespect, a point would have been a good point for them. There would have been more question marks if we started this season dropping points. A point would have been a good point for them. And like I said, they should have chances. They potentially on another day score. I can't remember if it was the first or second half, but there was one moment we switched off from a corner, people. It was a lovely run. Clearly they worked on it. Emery came from behind our defence as the in-swinging corner was coming in. Completely unmarked, low-driven cross. He met the low-driven cross with his run, and it didn't come to anything. But moments like that, I'm thinking we need to potentially switch on a bit. I did think we saw a lot of gaps, but going into half-time, it's 0-0. I'm sure either team can't really expect anything different because there quite hasn't been that extra bit of quality within the team from either side to suggest to either score or whatnot. There's been promising moments, there's been a good bit of play, but generally there's not been enough. For all our possession, and I know Newcastle, I said they had a bit of possession and tried to come at us. If you look at the statistics, at half-time they had 5 shots, we had 3. Focusing on Arsenal now, we had 3 shots, 70% of the possession, and 300 passes. It's no secret that the more tickets you buy, the more chance you have of winning the lottery. There was a couple of incidences I was thinking players just need to shoot, man. I was looking at it, Mkhitaryan kind of needs to come off because he was not the scapegoat or whatnot, but I did think he was letting the team down a couple of times, 5-yard passes. I was shocked. He's meant to be one of the most, on the position he plays and the game set he's allegedly meant to bring. Ozil, him, Ceballos as well, they're meant to be some of the most technically gifted players in the squad, and he's breaking it down. Even, what was it, in added on time at the first half, simple movement from Nelson to make that run forward, movement forward playing 1-2s. I wasn't seeing that from him, but we ain't done enough to score. This kind of shows our issues that we had last season. For all the goals we scored and as lethal as our attack is, we have possession and it's sideways and it's kind of lackluster. And again, fitness, all of these things play a part. It's not the strongest squad, but you're looking at it as something needs to give. And I'm actually looking at it, surely Emery's going to make a change or two. I definitely think Mkhitaryan's coming off, in my opinion. Like I said, he did well to play 83 minutes. Second half, I felt there was more intent generally throughout the game from both teams to kind of play football in each other's final third. I feel Arsenal put some good moves together. 52nd minute, Nelson put a lovely ball across. No one was obviously equal to it from a corner. Joe Willock, if he actually had no time to react, people, really and truly. So yeah, as the game was going on, there was chances, and I did start to feel we would score. I personally felt we needed to score 2 because such is Arsenal's luck. We'll score and they'll score again, and I feel it felt like one of them games for me. Nelson and Joe done very well for me in the game, but as the game went on, probably around just before they obviously got subbed, I think I tweeted about Joe's one, they looked cream crackered, they looked knackered, they gave it all. They're young players, they're still more, for all the development, for technical ability and all the things they need to adjust, they're still developing as professional athletes, and it is tiring stuff, and they're not fit right now. Obviously, Nelson, I think both of them were playing for England at youth tournaments. I'm sure Joe was at Toulon and he was at the under-21s, but it's still a bit of fitness. So naturally, I supported the decisions to take both of them off. Obviously, it's nice for Martinelli and Pepe to get their debuts. We deserved our goal. Obviously, it was a poor pass from Dummett trying to find Williams, who just came on for Newcastle. I do think it's fundamentally a poor pass, people. But I don't think the man that's supposed to receive the ball is urgent enough trying to get there. I don't think he's to blame, but I don't think he's urgent enough. Maitland-Niles intercepts, breaks free, and kind of like Kyle Walker yesterday, I'd say that ball was better, to be fair. In fact, they were both good balls in their own right. It's a lovely ball from Maitland-Niles to pick up Aubameyang. Aubameyang takes a touch. He does what he done last season, and he just needs to score 21 more goals this season to match what he had last year, and he's off the mark for the season. Maitland-Niles as a fullback or wing-back at times, I suppose, has got an assist. I think he's done well defensively. I did think when Maximin came on, you obviously know he's an exciting player. End product is another discussion for him, but he can cause trouble, and literally he put a lovely darting ball in, and I thought we need to score. But all in all, we did what we needed to do. Maybe if this game was played earlier on in the season, both teams would have scored, or there would have been every other things or whatnot, but it is what it is. Don't know how I'm sure Lascelles didn't get booked for one time he brought down Joe Willock, but what can I say, people? At the end of the day, we went out there, we got 3 points. I can't complain. We look forward to Burnley at home. Hopefully Pepe starts, and I think Joe and Nelson did well, and they're in the mix to start and retain their places next week. But ideally, you would like to see Ceballos, Pepe make their home debuts, and potentially Lacazette and or Aubameyang start either together or all of them. But this is the sort of problems we wanted. We've got some good options. Joe and Nelson gave themselves convincing display, in my opinion. Guendouzi, of course, showed his naivety at times, but I think he did well, in my opinion. Chambers, I think from a defensive aspect, he did well. The whole team really... It's not a game where the performance was mad and crazy. We did what we needed to do. I suppose we could have done better, but at the end of the day, we won. For people that are potentially having question marks over us, I'm not saying not have that. And again, we're a long way away from certain teams I'm going to mention. But Spurs didn't look entirely convincing in their game. Neither did Liverpool, neither did City. And Chelsea and United are about to kick off in a sec, people. So I don't know for that one. But you get the point. We move on to Burnley. People, Deluded, thank you for watching and rocking as usual. I'm out.